Welcome to Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. Let's get to it. All right, Dave. So it looks like failed New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is looking to resuscitate his horrible career. He's got an unethical, fawning media to rely on. And there's obviously the notoriously corrupt New York State political machine, which seems ready to assist Cuomo again. That includes the new mayor, Eric Adams, who just met Cuomo for a love fest dinner and said he had a lot to learn from Cuomo. I'm just really upset about all of this. And I know that your family has a long, illustrious political career in New York. Is there anything that could stop Cuomo from taking power again to do more damage?
Yes, well, let me say a couple of things. First of all, what got Cuomo out of power was not the corruption, though that's definitely there. It wasn't the malfeasance, like sticking all those old people in COVID Petri dishes, though that was certainly there. But it was the fact that he had no friends. He was the antithesis of the Bill Clinton political model, where you try to make as many friends. You take a cab somewhere and you send the guy a note when you get home, right? You can't have too many friends. And then when the going gets tough, people are there to help you. Well, Andrew Cuomo didn't have any of those, and that's what brought him down. And I would give Eric Adams a pass. The guy is the mayor of New York. He's got a huge task. Crime is way up. He's got a lot on his plate. He was elected to make his city streets safer. So don't blame the guy for trying to get some advice from an old political, I use the term in quotation marks, legend. But to answer your question, no, I don't think Andrew Cuomo will come back, precisely for the reasons that I've said. I just believe that he's got too much baggage. He made too many enemies. And the longer that we get into what I think now is the post-COVID era. In other words, this is an endemic, not a pandemic. And even a lot of blue states, California, we're finally lifting our mask mandate next week. People are going to realize how wrong he was. So I think, he's like a fine cheese. He's not going to improve with age. Fine wines do, cheeses do not. So I think he's going to just get more smelly as time goes on. What are your thoughts?
Oh, Dave, I hope you're right. I really do. Your lips to God's ears, because this is, from what I've heard, he wants a vendetta run against the Attorney General, Letitia James, and he's actually planning to file a complaint against her because all of these charges so far on the harassment have been dropped. And I talked to Janice Dean, who's the Fox News senior meteorologist whose in-laws died in these nursing homes in New York. And she told me that she thinks the reason they were dropped is that there was some sort of deal that was made before he left office that, okay, we'll avoid you from getting impeachment, because that's really, I think, why he stepped on, is he didn't want to get impeached and removed, because that's where the Democrats were heading at that point based on the polling. They said,
Absolutely.
Okay, wait till this all blows over and then we'll do these backroom deals and maybe he'll run again. And that's what really upsets me, is that this guy wants blood. And it's in some ways he's furious with Letitia James because he helped to create her in some respects, or at least allowed her to rise. And then you see she took down him because she wanted to run for governor, and now she saw she had nowhere to go in the polls. So then she's like, okay, I'm withdrawing my campaign. These two people have this vendetta, and what's really upsetting to me is that he might actually get back to power in part. And this is where you and I'm bringing him up this time. Democrats might want him to go after Trump because that's what Letitia James is doing. And Cuomo would say, I'll go harder.
Well, it does make me chortle a little bit, because when you mention someone who was disgraced, who is a loser, who wants to run again, who has a bunch of vendettas, God, I swear, that sounds like someone you've been supporting. I'm sure the name will come to me at some point. But yeah, unfortunately, this is one of the sad remnants of the Trump era, is that there's no such thing as shame. There's no such thing as rock bottom, as we'll discuss later in the show. So unfortunately, this is a legacy, and I would say a cancer in our politics that's spread, and this is not the last time we're going to see it.